What if I told you you can create gorgeous harmonies on guitar using simple bar chord shapes? Now, to be clear, we're not going to be playing a single bar chord in this video, but we will be using them to unlock their hidden power through sixth harmony. In the next few minutes, I'm going to show you how these simple shapes can totally change the way you approach your guitar playing. But before we get into it, if you could like this video right now, I'd really appreciate it. It'll push it out there into the world of YouTube. If you like the content I put out each week and you haven't subscribed already, I'd really appreciate your subscription to the channel. And lastly, in the description below this video, there is a link to a free workshop I did on how to back a singer on guitar, of which I used some of the ideas in today's video, plus a whole lot more stuff I'm sure you'd love. So that is yours if you'd like it. All right, let's get to it. So we can use root 5 and root 6 bar chords to extract sixth harmony on guitar. So let me show you what I mean. If I take a root 6 C major bar chord at the 8th position here, hidden inside that bar chord we have sixth harmony. We actually have two instances of it if you like. We have what I sort of refer to as the lower sixth harmony. So here I'm just pulling out these two notes out of the root 6 bar chord form. Okay, and we have the upper sixth harmony, which is this shape. Both share a note. They've both got this E note on the 9th fret, 3rd string, but we've got the lower sixth harmony and the higher sixth harmony. And these are easy to find to match the chord. And we're going to be applying this stuff in this video very shortly, but these are easy to find to match the chord because they're inside of it, right? If you know this shape, you can use that to anchor the harmony down on the guitar. So if you went to a G chord and you wanted to play some sixth harmony over the top of it, or reference it, or implied, or whatever it might be, there's the shapes. The lower sixth harmony, if you want to use that one, or the upper sixth harmony, okay? And we can do the same in the root 5 chord. If I go to root 5C, we've only got one instance of sixth harmony in this shape, and it's here, okay? Just because how it falls on the fretboard. But that's great, that's all we need. So we could pull out those two notes, see that shape within the larger context of a shape we already know, the root 5. Now, if you're sitting there, and I'm sure some of you are, and thinking, what is sixth harmony? What do you mean by that? We just simply mean that the distance between the two notes I'm playing are a sixth apart, meaning there are 6 notes between them inside of the key they come from. So for example, if I play the upper sixth harmony here from my root 6 bar chord, and I count up the key playing the notes of the scale, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. That's the sixth. That's what we mean by sixth harmony. All right, we're going to be using it very shortly, but right now the lesson is use the root 6, root 5 bar chord forms to find your harmony. Now, I almost forgot, there's the minor equivalents too. So with the minor chord, all you got to do is flat the 3rd. So there's your minor sixth harmony, there's your minor sixth harmony relating to the minor bar chord is what I'm talking about there. So there's the minor shapes, and the root 5 minor, we have the minor shape, just the 1 sixth to relate to the minor chord there. So one way to use this sixth harmony is to simply follow the chords of a progression. So I'm going to have a progression here that's in the key of C. It's going to go from a C to a G to an A minor to an F. Good old 1, 5, 6, 4. So as that chord progression occurs, I can play the corresponding sixth harmony. So it doesn't matter if the other guitar player is playing open chords or however they're playing the chords. I'm just referencing the corresponding bar chord to find the sixth harmony. So if I did that with the upper sixth harmony in C major bar chord forms, the root 6, here's my C, then I go to G, and then I go to A minor, so these are coming from the bar chord forms, and then I go down to F, and there I've just implied the chord progression through sixth harmony, G, A minor to F. Or I could take the lower sixth in those bar chord forms, so same forms, but now I'm using the sixth that is lower in the chord, down to the F. Or I could take the root 5 form, we have one instance of sixth harmony in root 5, and I could extract that out to follow the chord progression. So we'd have C here, we go up to G here, up to A minor, and down to F. And you could do combinations of those to keep it more around the fretboard if you like, but you're following the chord change. Now on its own it sounds a little empty. You wouldn't want to do that for too long before something else comes in. But the thing with these is to follow the chord change while someone else is actually playing the chords. So if I've got a track here that plays that progression, is the G, A minor, So I'm going to play the upper sixth harmony in the root 6 bar chord forms. C, G, A minor, or I could go to the lower and following the chords, G, A minor, down to F, or using the root 5, up to G, to the A minor, and if you want you can pick out a little bit more. So you can do that sort of thing, right? For a really nice second part. Instead of just playing the chords along with the other player, you can create a bigger sound, bigger scope, bigger spectrum if you like, by playing those nice harmonies on top of the chord progression. It's as simple as that. Just visualize the chord shape, follow the progression, and you'll have a really nice second part to add using sixth harmony. Now, if we can extract sixth harmony from a C major chord in the key of C, we can do it with all the chords in C major. So in the key of C, we have a C major chord, we have a D minor, we have an E minor, we have F major, G major, A minor, and our B diminished back to C. So if I can extract this little sixth harmony, we'll take the upper sixth here to demonstrate this. So if I can take that from the root 6 major bar chord form, the 1 chord in C, I can do it from the 2 chord, D minor and E minor. These are all chords in the key of C. We have F down here, we have G, we have A minor. We can even extract this sixth harmony from B diminished and back to C again. So what happens, what this means is we can create a lot more movement. So if someone's just sitting on a C chord, for example, for a period of time, we don't have to, we're not restricted or stuck on just this sixth harmony. We can create movement over that chord, just like you would do a little line like that from C major. You can harmonize it now with sixths. Okay, just following the chord form. So the C chord is happening, no D minor, no E minor, but I know I can use those because they're part of the key. I'm just using notes from the key, harmonized in sixths. Okay, and then to practice this, it'd be a good idea to find the corresponding sixth harmony to the chord in the key. So let's say we've got the 5 chord in C major. Here's the sixth harmony from that. What's the surroundings? What do you have around you? You've got the A minor, B diminished. There's the chord in question. Below is F, back to G. We've got to stay diatonic. So if I went up to A major, it's not going to sound right because A major is not part of C. It's got to be A minor. So you just see how it looks around the chord. So if I just harmonize C major from the first available chord in the first position here, I've got F, that's the 4 chord of C major. I've got G, the 5, the 6 A minor, 7 B diminished, then the 1, the 2, the 3, and you can see the sort of pattern it creates. When you've got the 1 chord here, either side are the 2 same forms, okay, in the same fret, coming from the minor chords, and then you've got 2 major coming from the major chords. So you start to familiarize yourself with that pattern, and you can see how it looks on the fretboard here. If you jot it out on the fretboard diagram like you see on the screen, you can see how that takes shape. So we could take the chord progression we had earlier, which was C to G to A minor F. Now instead of just going C, was it G? Yeah, to A minor and down to F, we could create a little bit more movement there now. So maybe into the G, into the A minor, down to the F, and then we could climb up back to C. So the whole time we've just got those same 4 chords, C, G, A minor, F, but we're now creating movement, but making sure we land on a harmony that works with the chord when it changes. To the A minor, down to the F, and then I climb back up diatonically to get to C. And you can create a really cool sound. If that's a bit busy, you could simplify it. You might go C, down to G, and then maybe A minor to the F, and then you can do it however you like. Lots of possibilities. Let me show you with our chord progression here, so you can hear it in context. So there's our G, there's our A minor, Here's our F, so something like this. Right? Creates really nice movement. Lots of possibilities, that's just one. But once you harmonize the whole scale in sixths, now the world is your oyster. Lots of things you can do. Now, if you want a bit of a bigger sound with the sixth harmony, something that could stand up on its own without needing something behind it necessarily, we can do that by adding open strings. If we take our chord progressions C, G, A minor, F, we had this little C upper sixth harmony from the root sixth form to the G, to the A minor, to the F. Now we could just simply include and pick out a little pattern, including the open B string in between the two notes of the harmony. So let's see. So we have our C, down to our G, to our A minor, to our F. So we might do something like this. Just pick out a little pattern following the chords. Right, so C, down to the G, to the A minor, and to the F. Sounds great on its own, still a bit thin because it is high up in the chord, but that could really sound great over the chord progression as well. So if I take the progression from earlier, where we've got the C and the G and the A minor to the F, I'll play this on top. Right, creates a really nice second part that fleshes it out a little more. Okay, so something like that can sound really good bringing in droning open strings. If we had the lowest sixth in that particular form, the root sixth and the lowest sixth harmony in that shape, then I could, it's a bit lower in the chord so it fills out the bottom end a bit, and I could include the top two open strings. They're going to be in the key, B and E, so that's fine. And as I go to G, I could include the open strings. As I go to A minor, they work great there, and over the F. So I might do something like to the G, maybe to the A minor, and the F. Right, back to C. So the open strings can really flesh it out and still sounds great with the chords, but can also sound great on its own, and again just multiplies the possibilities that you can do creating gorgeous harmonies using the sixth. So if you want some songs to check out that use sixth harmony, there are many that do. It's a very common harmony. Some that come to mind: Fortunate Son, Credence, Clearwater Revival. We've got sixth harmony in the intro, something like this. Right, it's all over the G chord here, static chord. So it's happening over someone pedaling a G power chord basically. So we've got sixth harmony here on the G, and we're making movement down the key. This one is not sixth harmony, nor is, that's just a couple of notes there. If we played them together, they'd be a third, but we've got sixth harmony happening in the first part of that very famous riff. Another one that I'm sure you know, Wanted Dead or Alive by Bon Jovi. This is all sixths. Okay, against the pedal of the open D string there that I'm doing. And we're just working down the key, and then it goes to the song. And you hear sixth harmony a lot with blues, So there are a couple of examples there. It's all throughout music. You'll hear it. Now that you play around with it, you'll start to hear it in music, and it will give you further ideas of how you can implement it into your own playing. If you like this video, then you'll love this free workshop called Dynamic and Compelling Ways for Arranging Music to Accompany a Singer on One Guitar. In it, I teach and train effective ways to create amazing sounding arrangements for a single guitar and vocal. So whether you're someone who would like to be able to create the perfect arrangement of a song, or a singer-songwriter who would like to be able to accompany themselves on guitar, or a guitar player who would simply like to have more ways to express themselves on the instrument, then this workshop is for you. Better yet, I have an actual singer on hand throughout the workshop to demonstrate all the concepts covered so you can hear just how effective they are. Everything is put to the test. No theorizing, just practical ways to create arrangements of songs that sound amazing. Plus, you'll also receive a PDF booklet that complements the class, offering tools and concepts you can use as well as worksheets for your arrangements. So click the link in the description below this video and download your free video workshop, Dynamic and Compelling Ways for Arranging Music to Accompany a Singer on One Guitar. You'll have it in your inbox within minutes. Let me know in the comments what acoustic guitar topics you'd like to see covered in future videos. I do read the comments and I take a lot of the suggestions on board, and many of them do become future videos on the channel. So if you want to see something, don't be shy, drop us a line. I would love to hear from you. If you like this video, I'd really appreciate it. And if you haven't already and you like the content I release each week, I'd really appreciate your subscription to the channel as well. This is Simon Candy from acousticguitarlessonsonline.net. Thank you so much for sticking around and checking out this video. I really do appreciate it, and I'll look forward to seeing you in the next one.